Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paigncast. This is a podcast where we shine a light on the people that brighten up our city. My name is Austin Beatty. I'm the go-to quote. I work for Country Financial. If you need anything with your insurance, you know where to find me. I want to say thank you for checking out the podcast. Right now, we have 36 subscribers. We are trying to get that up to 400,000. So if you have not liked and subscribed, we're trying to do attainable goals here. So I'm hoping by episode 5, we've got that up closer to the 400,000 mark. Real quick, we are officially merchant. We have got Paigncast merch. This is for you. That one's for you. Take that with you. Yeah,
wow.
That's just a little gift.
Okay.
If you would like one, message me, call me, text me, whatever it may be. They're $15 a piece, and all of the proceeds go to the backbone of this podcast, which is Veronica Mullen. So thank you to those of you who have purchased those. We have an ad read from our sponsor. It is Mr. Matt Walters at the Nate Evans Group with eXp Realty. Did you wake up today and you're thinking about buying or selling a house during this crazy market? Would you prefer to work with someone who has your best interest in mind when making one of the biggest purchases of your life? Then there's one guy to call. That is Matt Walters at the Nate Evans Group with eXp Realty. He'll guide you through the process and make sure that you end up waking up in a new home. So thank you to Matt Walters for sponsoring this podcast. He was also a guest for episode 1, so check that out if you have not already. And without further ado, from the Champaign Park District, I want to introduce our guest. It is Miss Chelsea Norton. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for doing this.
Yes, hello.
Before we get going here, plug and promote every single thing that you've got going. Where can the people find you and your stuff?
Okay. Well, I'm just going to go Park District world because I, as a human, am just a normal average human, I guess. But the Park District, I mean, we're everywhere. We have a great Instagram account. We're on Facebook, champaignparks.org. You can get all the information you need there. We actually have an app, which is something that we have been trying to push really hard too. Is like you said, getting more subscribers to this is a bit of a pull. We want 400,000 app users, which would be crazy awesome. So you can definitely download the Champaign Park District app, and at that point you can look at our program guide or register for things or find parks and facilities and stuff like that. So we're working really hard to make the app awesome. So definitely check it out.
Do you have, now if I understand correctly, do you have a podcast as well?
We do have a podcast as well. Gosh, I should have talked about that. Yeah, Parks on Demand is our podcast, and I'm the primary voice of that podcast. It's really fun. We drop episodes every other week. So we're definitely trying to keep it current. We talk about some of the history of the parks. We talk about park projects that are going on. We highlight certain initiatives. We try to talk a little bit about current things we have coming up, like special events and whatnot. But I also want my episodes to be a little evergreen. So that's where we bring out history and stuff like that.
Right.
So for example, this week, my mission is to record the next podcast. And we're going to talk a lot about Champaign-Urbana Special Recreation, which is a program that we have for people with disabilities to recreate and have fun. And do some really great things. So we have an interview with someone that actually works for a company that creates accessible playground structures.
Awesome.
And they're going to talk a little bit about how structures can be more accessible for everyone. And then I'm just going to go on about the great programming that we do.
I love it.
So yeah, the podcast is a lot of fun, but I have full respect for what you do right here because it is so much work and it is so challenging to just come up with the ideas in the first place. It's a lot.
What's the name of the podcast?
Parks on Demand.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. You could type in Champaign Park District, you'll find it.
Does it go by the Podcast? Have I seen that before?
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
See, that's
a thing.
the
Podcast.
See,
right?
that is a huge problem because we actually do the Grammy-nominated alternative new metal band Payable on Death, which was formed in 1992 in San Diego, California. So my lawyers will be contacting you. So we do a deep dive on POD. So.
I think this is a collaboration opportunity where we can really get together.
Stupid joke.
That's very terrible. Yes.
Talk to me about the state of parks in Champaign. I know. Obviously, last year was crazy. Where are we at? Are things getting ramped up? What can we kind of expect for events and stuff like that? I know for me, I've got kids, right? So last year it was devastating not having some of those fun things that you guys put on that we look forward to every year. Where are we kind of at with the Park District?
Well, things are looking really good. I myself, once again, as a human and a park user, am getting so excited for summer. It is unbelievable. I get the great opportunity of like proofing the program guide before it's released to the public. And I'm not kidding. As I'm proofing it, I'm like writing down, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Like it's going to be such a great summer. So the program guide is out on champaignparks.org. You can view it on the app, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
But Sholem's going to open, and that's a really big deal. That's our aquatic center that has like this lazy river and the slides and stuff. We are currently making plans based on like the phase 4 recommendations that were set in June of last year. So we fully anticipate major changes to happen last minute before we open, Memorial Day weekend. But I mean, we're hiring plug for that because like we are hiring all across the district to try to ramp up our programs for the summer. It's always an intense time right now of hiring and preparing for summer. But this year it's a little more intense. We're having trouble like bringing job applicants in and stuff like that. Yeah.
I think due to the pandemic?
I believe so. Yeah. I think there's a lot at play there.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand what it must be like to try to look for work in this time. And you don't know, like, what is that place going to be like? Are they going to like keep me safe? You know? But one thing I can say about the Park District is we have been just on it this whole time, really going above and beyond with cleaning and making sure our staff is safe through all our programming and just operations. So Sholem, they're like desperate for lifeguards right now. Like we really need to get some lifeguards going on, although it's happening. And the thing's going to open and we are so excited.
That's
so
great.
At this point, we're planning for that. We have, like summer concerts. Well, I know you asked like how it affected us.
Sure. But go ahead with everything that's coming up.
I'm just going to ramble
let's
for
do it.
Really like unnaturally long time about
I love it. Let's do it. Yeah.
But we're going to other things that are like ramping up and we're excited about would be like summer programming, like the special events that you talked about. Like one of my favorite things that we do are just like concerts in the park. Yeah. They're so chill. And I also have young children and it's hard to keep them like sitting nicely for a long period of time. So the park concerts are great because that's where you can bring the whole family out, like throw out a picnic blanket and just like listen to music. And then the kids can run in circles and no one gets mad about it. You know, I'm not taking them to the Virginia Theater necessarily, but I will take them to a concert in the park. Yeah. So those are coming back this summer. So we're really, really pumped about that and some movies in the park as well, which is actually something we haven't done in many, many years. Like I've been with the Park District for 8 years. We haven't done it the whole time I've been there. Nice. But we see the need for the community to have this outlet and have some safe places to be able to just do cool stuff. So that's a thing that's coming up this summer as well. Awesome. And we'll just have, like, we're rolling in more of just our normal programming. Like senior programming is getting kicked back up in May. And that's not like, you probably don't think of senior citizens when you think of the Park District, but it's a really important and large demographic that we serve. And so we're really excited to be able to like have them back in the buildings doing programming. We were just being super cautious about it. Day camps, you know, that's huge. Like parents, hands up. I am so like, get my kid in day camps right now. Get out of my house. Yes. So those are registrations open right now. You know, for that. And those are going to happen this summer as well with more spots than we had last year. You know, still within safety guidelines and whatnot, but it's just, I'm so excited for summer. Like it was unbelievable.
No, that's great. I mean, it was so hard last year not having some of those resources, and like in the parks you don't realize how much you lean on them until they're taken away from you as like an outlet, a place to take your family, a place to go, a place where the kids can run and climb and jump and play, and then all of a sudden you can't go there anymore. You are stuck in your house with nowhere to go. So I'm really glad that you guys are able to get back open, and there's so many fun things that are coming back and a little more normalcy to the parks that we were kind of used to from
for sure.
a couple of years ago at least.
Well, and also like we use some of this time to make things better too. You know, like when you're not running programs, we still wanted to keep our staff working. You know, we didn't want anyone furloughed. So people were really ramping up efforts, like making repairs to buildings, you know, doing things out in the parks. And we're actually about to, we're like breaking ground on a major project in North Champaign, kind of by the mall in Human Kinetics Park. We're about to build a whole new facility. Sweet. And that was already in the works before COVID hit. But, you know, really give us time to like tune in on what are we going to do with this project, do some additional fundraising. So that's some stuff we did as well. Like the Virginia Theater. People, I think, don't realize that the Champaign Park District owns and maintains a 100-year-old facility, a theater, which it actually turns 100 this December. Nice. So we're hoping to throw some kind of a party for it, you know, but So a lot of major changes have been happening there
Mm-hmm.
in the time that they couldn't host shows.
Right.
So we just really use this time to like continue to just improve on what we do and make it better.
That's great.
Yeah.
So talk to me about life in the Champaign Park District during the pandemic, right? Because now all of a sudden things are flipped upside down, and a lot of these events and the things that you would plan for and all of these activities, they're not happening, right?
Yeah.
And it's changing rapidly, but for the most part, at one point, it's all kind of just shut down. What does that look like for you guys there? I mean, how did you spend your time? Like, what did that planning look like? How did that go?
It's all a blur, honestly. Like, I look back and I'm like, well, what did we do?
Yeah.
Like I said, we did a lot of things to just keep things going, but we had a lot of stir-crazy staff that, I mean, everyone that works at Champaign Park District is super passionate about what they do.
Sure.
From the horticulture people that just want to plant some flowers to the people running children's programming, etc.
Right.
Like, they thrive on what they do. And so for all of that to kind of be taken away was really huge. It was really challenging. We kept people busy by like just kind of swapping departments.
Yeah.
So the operations department actually relied really heavily on full-time staff that didn't have programming happening. Yeah. So that was really interesting because we did a hiring freeze where we weren't hiring our part-time seasonals. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, we hire like hundreds of people each summer as a part-time seasonal thing.
Yeah.
Well, last summer we couldn't really do that,
Sure.
but we still needed to plant those flowers and like mow the grass and stuff. So a lot of staff actually moved to other departments. They went from their desk jobs to like working in the parks.
Yeah.
And I think I can't speak for them because I stayed in my role as a department head and the head of marketing, but I think a lot of people, it brought like a different perspective and value to what other people do in the district. So that was pretty neat. But I mean, a huge struggle and a huge challenge. We also lost some people to early retirement. Yeah. And that's tough when you kind of get that hit. Like, yeah, man, you can retire. Like that's good for you. That's good. But you lose some of that like institutional knowledge, you know, and those people that you've relied on for so long. Sure. And then it's like, well, I'm going to retire early. Like, I'm not doing anything. So we lost a few people to that, and that was really tough. But now, you know, most of those positions are reopening, and we can, like, bring in some new blood, you know, and some new people that are going to fill those shoes and bring some good change about the district.
Sure.
So it was really interesting, just trying to keep up with all the changes, too. Yeah. Like, can we open our facility? Right. How many people can be there? Like, that was really intense to keep up with. And my role with like educating the public about what we're doing. Yeah. It was so crazy. Like, I felt like I was just constantly doing like news calls from like my kitchen and stuff, like just trying to like inform the public on what we were doing. Yeah. We really ramped up our social media presence because that was just such an easy, quick way to like tell people what we were up to. And my staff also just started putting like fun activities on our social media, you know, encouraging people to use the parks. Like, we're making up scavenger hunts and stuff, like things we just never really expected to have to do. Yeah. It was super intense. And then I was, you know, home with kids doing all of this. Yeah. So it was really awkward sometimes to try to do like a news interview with like the baby in the other room squealing about something, you know? So it was an interesting time for sure.
People don't think about the pandemic created a glimpse into everyone's like actual life there for a couple of months where like I would be on a call with like my boss's boss is on there, and it's, you know, I'm in like my suit jacket, and then there's just a naked baby runs back behind me, and I was just, you know, everyone's like, you'd be like, hey, what happened back there? And I'm like, that was my son. We just had a bath, and they're all here. You know, there's screaming or fighting happening in some other wing of the house, and I'm just like, you know, you're trying to keep it professional. Yeah, exactly. Like, can you guys just keep it together for a little bit there? So you were in an office and then kind of got work from home then.
I'm actually still working primarily from home, although I do have some chances to go into the office. Yeah. It's just it's the way it needs to be still right now. So luckily our executive director, Joe DeLuce, he really wanted people to feel comfortable and feel safe. So he was really open to, hey, do what you got to do. Let's just keep getting our stuff done as best as we can. So I've been working from home this entire time, and it's been interesting. It gives a whole new respect for, like, you know, that guy that kind of went viral because he was on the news and like his baby busted in, and then his wife busted in too. Like that's everyone now. Oh, it's like equal playing ground. Yes. I also really loved getting to see like what people's houses look like. Yeah. I just care about that. Yeah. And like when you see like someone's living room and like, oh, they got a poster for that movie I like, it kind of brought like a new like closeness, even
Yeah.
if we weren't close.
Oh, totally.
I don't know. I was totally scoping out people's backgrounds.
I think everyone was. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get just that little bit of a glimpse into what their actual life looks like and who they are.
It was kind of humanizing, right?
It was. I was always trying to like get into it. Basically, this exact setup behind me, so you couldn't see the thousands of toys that were scattered across my entire house.
So did you put a curtain behind you for meetings?
Eventually Zoom and some of this technology got to the point where they could kind of just put one up behind you.
Oh yeah.
So, but I would be going like outside or I don't know how many, like Kelsey runs almost all of her appointments when the kids are at home exclusively from her car. She's like, I'm going to head out to the van.
That's so smart.
That makes sense. Yeah. Cause there's kids crying in here and there's, Baby Shark is blasting out of Rocky's room and all of that stuff. So
it's a delicate balance.
It really is. I need to get your opinion on a couple of park-related things. So I need you to rank the following. Or at least have the word park in them.
Okay. So, Lincoln Park has got to be a part of this, right? I know. I feel like I know you.
So
wait, I'm ranking?
You are ranking them. Okay. I need you to go give me an order from best to worst or what you like more. 1.
Okay.
Parkas.
Mm-hmm. Yep, those are a thing.
2. Jurassic Park.
I have thoughts and feelings about that.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
3. Sparklers.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Fire and parks don't usually go well.
Sure. No, that's true.
Unless we're doing like a controlled burn, which is a thing.
That one could be trending towards the bottom. But you've also got parking tickets, which are tough.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You knew it. You guessed it. Good call.
Yeah.
Lincoln Park.
Obviously. I mean, we're like, maybe we're not the same age, but we're of the same era.
In the same realm. Yeah.
We know.
Yeah. Well, then you're going to know this one. We have Sarah Jessica Parker, specifically from Hocus Pocus.
That really helps.
Yeah.
As opposed to other shows.
Correct. Exactly. That one specifically. So give me your best to worst here.
Okay. Well, I mean, Jurassic Park is just number 1 for me as far as like best tops. Okay. Do you want me to shuffle?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
I'm just going to hold them up as you rank them.
So Jurassic Park, like lots of fond memories right there.
It's wonderful.
I finally got my oldest son, Elwood, to watch it and not be terrified.
Yeah, nice.
I don't know why. Like I've tried for 2 years to get him to watch this movie. Anyway,
it's the best.
I myself watched it when it came out. I was probably like 5 years old or something.
Same.
My mom kicked me out of the theater. Did your mom kick you out of the theater? Yeah, she was. As soon as the guy on the, in the John, gets just chomped.
Yeah.
She was like, we are out of here.
Yeah, it's too much.
And it was so frustrating because I was like, no, I'm into this. Like,
exactly. We've already seen it now, Mom. Come on.
Yeah. She made us get out of there. I think my younger sister was with us. That could have been a part of it.
Sure.
I think she thought it was a cute dinosaur movie.
Right.
Anyway. Right. Okay. So next, I love this. I love Hocus Pocus and Sarah Jessica Parker's like role in it.
Yeah.
Don't love her.
Sure.
As much. I mean, I don't know her personally. So I'm gonna put Lincoln Park next because like just middle school angst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I'm gonna put that next.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I wonder how much judgment I'm gonna get on like
I'd say a lot.
Your comments are gonna blow up.
If we're going to 400,000 subscribers, there's gonna be some opinions. So I would anticipate.
You know what? I'll take it because this is my life.
Right.
Not anyone else's. Okay, so Sarah Jessica Parker can go next because I do appreciate.
Yeah, she was. I think
role
lovely in that film. And that film is also a big part of any, I think, 90s kid.
Oh my gosh.
You had to love it.
I still watch it at least 3 times.
She may have been my first crush. When I think back on it, loved her in that film.
She's a little
gorgeous.
Old for you.
Yeah, I think so. Not at the time. I thought maybe. Yeah, she didn't call it though.
She really?
No.
All right. What's gonna be next? What if I like said parking ticket? How would you feel
that would
about
be
that?
like you like the enforcement of where people can and cannot park.
Not as much, no. Okay, so clearly I'm gonna say Parka because we talked before the podcast about how we're in baseball season and like parkas can really come in handy.
I would have loved a parka yesterday. I was freezing out there playing baseball. Yeah. Okay. No,
not like a cute fashion statement. Like if I'm gonna wear a jacket, I want it to be like a cool denim jacket or something.
Sure.
But I can respect
it's functional.
The wind breakage.
Yeah, functional warmth. No, that makes sense.
Okay. Sparklers. Wow, why are sparklers below a parka? Chelsea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they're pretty seasonal for what it's worth. You're not experiencing them very often, but
they
they're
make
nice
me
when they come
nervous.
around. Yeah.
Like I'm gonna burn my fingertips.
And most of the time you do. You are once it gets to that bottom part, you're kind of just roasting your hand,
Like I can appreciate like making shapes.
Yeah. That
Anyway,
part's
you
fine.
know what I'm talking about.
I
And
do.
parking tickets, like those don't even deserve to be on the list.
No. Well, again, I had a feeling they were going to come in late, but I had to at least give you the option.
Okay,
Some people are a
I
fan of
appreciate
parking
that.
enforcement, so
I'm
not.
love to park where I'm not allowed to.
Yeah,
so.
I'm the same way. I want to just put my
Especially
car
in downtown Champaign.
Yes, it's always a hassle.
Which I used to get to spend a lot of time, not
Sure.
so much anymore.
Yes, I agree. Same. I want to talk to you about, you mentioned being displaced and working from home.
Yeah.
I am someone who I was also sent home to work for a little while. I don't love it. I didn't love it, but I was able to get back into the office. I was essential the whole time, as were you. So I worked from home for a while. Then the office opened back up, and I was at least able to get in.
Yeah.
You, working from home, same as my wife, you are a full-time employee. You have a full-time job. You will also be a full-time stay-at-home mom because your kids are there.
Yeah.
You are basically a teacher because you are kind of guiding a lot of this learning. You are a chef. You are an IT person, which I think is frustrating for a lot of parents. There's technology issues, and you are the one getting your shoulder tapped to try and fix those.
Yeah.
And you are in a lot of ways kind of isolated from your life that you had before, where you were in the office and seeing adults and having adult conversations. And all of that kind of flips on its head all of the sudden. How did that go for you?
I mean, do you mean how is it continuing?
Yeah,
to go?
exactly.
I mean, I'm going a little crazy.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm grateful. Like, I'm really grateful that at the beginning I could be there because it was really stressful.
Yeah.
And like all any of us wanted to do was like be that family unit and be like, I'm protecting my circle.
Yeah.
Sure. So
I'm
super grateful that I had that opportunity and I wasn't forced to just like figure it out. Our daycare didn't close. So I know that I could have sent the kids there, but it was scary, so I didn't, you know? So I have a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old. I kept them home with me until August while I was continuing to do all those things that you talked about. Be the I call myself the principal, actually.
Sure.
I'm not about teaching the children,
no,
but I'm
that
the
makes more sense. That's
of Norton Virtual Academy. So, like, that's,
I love it.
Which is a bummer because, like, people love teachers a little bit more than principals.
Oh, yeah.
So I probably shouldn't have gone that route.
Sure.
But yeah, so I'm the principal. But I kept the kids home until August when they, my youngest started going back to daycare.
Yeah.
And that, like, opened up my world to so much more productivity.
Right.
And then the older kids, well, I actually have our best friend's daughter. She's 10 and she is awesome. Yeah. She's at our house every day for school. And she was at our house for like about half of the summer as well because both of her parents are essential, have to be in the office type of people. So it was like a wild madhouse. Yeah. And I honestly think about last summer and I like I said, it's a blur. Yeah. Like I honestly don't remember like how we got through it. Right. But stuff got done and like there we are. Yeah. But I never wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I just really thrive on like working with other individuals, especially like my role as the director of marketing. Like to get the creative things going, you kind of have to like work with other people. You know, you can't just like start. I don't know. I don't want to just sit at home writing a bunch of press releases. Right. Like you want to come up with the creative ideas to like promote things. Yeah. But then what were we promoting? Yeah. Beyond like the playgrounds are closed for a little bit. Okay, now they're open again. Right. You know, so it was just a really strange time. And my husband, I'm so grateful he got to be home for a while, but eventually he had to go back too. Yeah. So it's just like impossible to have a full thought at any moment. Yeah. Working at home. Sure. With kids that are they're just trying to survive too. Yeah. You know, so we've gotten a good schedule going now and we're figuring it out. But I would say it definitely took me like a solid, I don't know, like 5 months. Yeah. That's a random number that I'm just throwing out to like figure out what was going on. Yeah. And then ever since then, like every day is like a little bit better at like getting our schedule. Right. And then something weird happens where we're all just like off one day. Yeah. And then our schedule gets thrown back, you know, and then we kind of move forward. So it's an ebb and flow and I don't even know how to describe it because it's just like the weirdest thing. It's crazy. Ever working from home and Zoom meetings are just so interesting. Yeah. Like if I'm comfortable, I'll do them out like in the dining room so I can monitor the situation. Yeah. But always, like, Elwood's going to pop in and, like, make a weird face.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, it's cool because these are my work friends. But
Yeah.
then when it's like a real meeting, I'm like, okay, I have to lock myself in my office.
Yes.
And just cross my fingers that no
That
one's...
there's no gigantic crash in the other room or a scream.
If
or
there is,
an
it
injury.
just happens. Like, I'm not a good principal of Norton Virtual Academy.
Sure.
I'm not. So, yeah, I don't know how to describe it. I think one thing that's been really unfortunate through this, and, like, I'm going to sound super feminist, but it's just, like, the weight put on women and mothers has been intense.
I see it in my house, too, with my wife.
know.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
And I have thoughts of why that is, but, I mean, the truth is, it's just what happened, you know? And it's so many women had to leave the workforce because they just needed to surround themselves with family and be there. And it's just so unfortunate because you're losing so many creative minds and so just like brilliant humans that could be doing really great things. But I have confidence that we're all going to like kind of come out of our hidey holes, which are, you know, the house with the kids.
Yeah.
And we're going to have all kinds of new ideas on how we can make things better. Yeah. Because if anything, like you just learn what's not working in a situation like this. Yeah. And I've learned a lot about like myself and my workflow too, like working at home with the kids, like figuring out their Zoom calls. You know, it's like, okay, they have Zoom class right now. I've got 2 hours.
Right, exactly.
Well, I really kind of want to watch my show right now. So
sure.
So you learn a lot about yourself and your workflow and what you need. So it's interesting.
I don't like working from home because I'm less productive. For sure. Yeah. I know that about myself. It was funny how at the beginning of the pandemic, I think that, you know, at first everyone's kind of scared and everyone's really worried and you're like, gosh, what is happening right now? Like, are we okay? And then a little more time goes on and, then we I can remember entering into the thriving stage. Oh, like, this is wonderful. You know what? We should do this every year. When all this is over, we should take like a week and just kind of lock ourselves in and be around each other because I love you, and we are all going to just kind of hang out. This is great. And then like 2 weeks later, you're like, if I have to look at these whining kids, you know, one more day, I am going to lose my mind. And it was nice to kind of be able to get back to things. For me, I am someone who, like, my wife, I think, does a better job of working from home. And I think that she actually, like, whenever all the kids are out of the house, I think that she would probably prefer that. Yeah. That's just where she I think, is comfortable. She likes it there. She likes being in the comfort of her own home. Yeah, for sure. Know, for downtime, she's got everything that she needs kind of right there in the house. I am someone like, I like to kind of bifurcate the two. I want to keep my work stuff here, my home life here. I don't necessarily like working from my house. I like to get out, be around people, have some like more adult conversations. Right. So for me, I didn't love. Yeah, I get that because like, I mean, everyone obviously responded to it differently. Yeah. Like I myself am like pretty outgoing, but I'm fairly introverted. So like I really enjoy social situations, but they're just super draining for me. So honestly, like the first month of quarantine, I was like, this is fine. Yeah. Like, whereas my husband, Keith, was like going crazy. Because he's very extroverted. Yeah. His power source comes from all his friends and all the people around him. And for me, I was like, no, this is good. But then as we continued to all be at home all the time, my introverted nature kind of showed itself more. I'm like, okay, now I'm getting drained just by being at home because now I have all these, you know, people in my face all the time and I can't like, you know, be away from people. So that's, like I said, like you really learn and grow about like who you are and what you need. Yeah. But big time, I miss like interacting with my peers more and, you know, anytime now that I can schedule a meeting like IRL in real life, I like make a big deal out of it. Like on the calendar invite, like meeting IRL, like we're gonna see each other face to face. We're gonna have masks on, so I can't really see your face, but you're looking good. You will be there, like exactly, it's gonna be great. So it's really interesting. Have they given any indication as to when like things will be back, or you guys permanently, is this kind of like a here to stay now with you guys being work from home? Oh yeah, so my department right now, I have 2 others in my department. So I have a full-time marketing coordinator and then a full-time graphic designer. Yeah. And both of them primarily still work from home just out of their own personal preferences. And it's fine. Like our department, we're just so fortunate that we can do it. Yeah. But we're actually like kind of making plans to move to one of our other facilities and set up a new office space. So we're really excited about that. There's no like hard fast rule of like, okay, everyone has to get back in the office right now. And I really appreciate that about our executive director and the way he's choosing to run things because things are still productive and working. Right. And he's, like if you need to be in the office right now, you need to be in the office. Yeah. But some people are fortunate that they can make those choices. So I think when summer hits, we're going to start seeing a lot more people in their offices just to like get
all the things. I
Sure.
mean, it's crazy in the
Right.
summer at the park district.
Oh, yeah.
But my department, we just kind of take turns like visiting the building and
Sure.
and doing IRL meetings.
Yeah. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you guys are hiring, obviously.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone who is interested? They love parks. They would love to start to get involved, and maybe they could see themselves someday having a full-time position, someone like you.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of advice would you give them on how to kind of get their foot in the door and kind of get started?
Well, there are a lot of different ways that you can get involved. One way to start would just be volunteering.
Mhm.
We have a pretty robust volunteerism program
Yeah.
to begin with, and it is still rolling as the pandemic is happening.
Sure.
A lot of our volunteerism opportunities are through special events,
Mhm.
and those are starting to happen again. So if you're the sort of person that likes to party, you might want to volunteer for those types of events.
Yeah.
We're doing a lot of park cleanup type initiatives
Nice.
because one thing we definitely saw during like the pandemic was more park use equals more trash in the parks.
Sure.
And we have a team that takes care of that. But
Mhm.
I mean, you can only do so much.
Right.
So that's where like the community really plays a huge role in just keeping the parks looking good.
Yeah.
So that's another opportunity. And as you volunteer for these different things, you get to know staff,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. Our natural areas program also has some volunteerism opportunities. And so when I say natural areas, like most people probably glaze over, like, what does that even mean? So it's not necessarily just like the flowers and, and grass and stuff. It's actually our kind of more like native plantings type department where they're focusing on like prairie spaces. Which you don't see a lot of in Champaign, but we're working on it, you know. And so they do things like controlled burns where people can actually get involved in like burning a portion of the park to help the seeds grow better. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
But so volunteerism is just like one way to get involved. Definitely, we have a huge number of job opportunities right now. And seasonal might not seem like the way to go because you're going to be let go at the end of the season, but not necessarily. The more that you like work with other staff and show your dedication to our community, people are going to notice that. And I've seen a lot of seasonals get hired for full-time positions eventually.
Good. Nice.
As things open up. And the fit is right,
Yeah.
So that's a great thing. Like for me, I think a lot of people think that you have to have a Parks and Recreation background or something.
Yeah.
Like I love Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec.
Same.
But I went to business school.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't make sense that I work for Parks and Rec right now. But luckily, the marketing department needed me. And so like I never expected to work for Parks and Recreation.
Sure.
Like I thought I was going to be some cool music promoter or something. I don't know. But then as I went to school here in Champaign, and I learned to love this community, which is what, we're like a fly trap or whatever, like a Venus flytrap. We're like grabbing people.
Yeah.
This community is. And I stuck around and I'm glad I did.
Yeah.
But the position opened up at the Park District and I'm like, I think I'm going to be Leslie Knope a little bit right now. Like I did not see that coming. So people can come from all different backgrounds and still end up in the horticulture department. It's just super cool.
Yeah.
So definitely, reach out, volunteer. Apply for positions if you're interested, or just keep an eye on our Facebook page for different things that we have going on because you never know what the right opportunity, might pop up open for you.
Yeah, I love it. So real quick, before I get you out of here, tell people where they can go to do these things, where they can go to apply. Tell them that they can tell them about the app one more time and then just plug and promote all of your stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So champaignparks.org is like the straight, like you'll find all the things there, like too many things. It's great. We have all of our parks and facilities listed. We have a map where you can just see like, you can even search it down like I'm looking for a basketball court in Northwest Champaign, and the map can show you all that stuff. So that's great. Our program guide is there, information about CUSR, which is special rec, information about the Virginia. It's just all pretty much housed at champaignparks.org. And then the app is awesome. So download that. You just type in Champaign Park District. It's so easy. And then our podcast will continue to update people on like what we're up to and cool things that we have going on. So that's Parks on Demand podcast, as you mentioned previously. I'm looking forward to the collaboration. We're going to come.
It's going to be great.
Like I said, we're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We just do our best to get the word out as much as we can. Because the end goal is to serve our community. That's what it's all about.
Sure.
So that's why we just put it out there all over the place. For everyone.
I think it's great. Ladies and gentlemen, go follow all of that stuff. And again, thank you for coming on and doing this, Chelsea. It was nice to talk to you. Like and subscribe to the podcast, and we will see you guys on the next one. Thanks.